The San Francisco 49ers have met with multiple first round offensive linemen, or at least projected first round offensive line prospects at the NFL Combine, according to multiple reports. And there are some big names that I'm sure 49er fans will be happy to hear that the 49ers are at least poking around to see if they could be a selection at pick 11. So let's start with some of the names. The biggest name, in my opinion, is offensive tackle Will Campbell out of LSU. This is someone that I believed very early on in this process was the best offensive lineman in this class. And that was when before like really any of the rankings started, any of, Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 were coming out or mock drafts were coming out. And the what I kept hearing was it was Kelvin Banks Jr. who was the best offensive lineman in this class. After getting into both of their tape, although I do think Kelvin Banks Jr. is a solid prospect, I don't believe he is the best offensive tackle prospect. In fact, I don't even know if Kelvin Banks is an offensive tackle. We'll talk about that in a little bit as the 49ers have connected with him as well. But with Will Campbell, he is, to me, really one of the true left tackle prospects in this class. And he's pretty good. He's pretty solid. And if he is somehow there at 11, obviously it makes a ton of sense for the San Francisco 49ers to draft him. I don't know if that will happen. Maybe there is a world that exists where they jump up a couple spots and they snag him. But it will be a long shot. But he did say that he had a good meeting with them. And back to Kelvin Banks, the Texans offensive tackle. So he met with the San Francisco 49ers as well. But it sounds like, based on the same thing that I was just talking about, they were asking him, how do you feel about playing other positions? AKA, how do you feel about being kicked inside? Because he just doesn't, in my opinion, have the base needed to be able to play defensive end against the top edge players in the NFL. You really have to have good feet, good base, and he has a tendency where he will stop his feet in his pass set, and he can get beat inside out as a result of that. Now, he still has some solid power, and he's a bigger body, so to me, he looks like a guard. Like just looking at him. So I believe his best fit will be on the inside. I don't know if you want to draft a guard at pick 11. I'm not opposed. I don't like that because Dominic Pooney is the perfect example of what I preach all the time is that you can find starting interior offensive linemen in rounds 2 through 5 like clockwork every single year. So don't overextend unless it's a generational talent. And I don't look at Kelvin Banks Jr. as a generational talent. Although I do believe he's a good prospect, I don't believe he's generational. So I don't think you draft him at 11. At least that's my opinion on that. The 49ers have also met with Josh Conerly Jr., the Oregon tackle. He's solid. He's good. I don't know if he's first round good. He seems like he could be an early day 2 pick. Kind of in that category, maybe even late day 2. I think, I don't know if he has good upside ability, he has good movement ability, and he shows some promise, but I don't know if I love him in the second round, maybe late second for Conerly Jr. And then the 49ers, I believe, have also met with Armen Membo, the Mizzou offensive tackle who's been mocked a lot to the San Francisco 49ers at 11. He is a guy who actually kind of reminds me of Zach Tom. If you guys recall, I was very high on Zach Tom, who went in the 4th round. I thought he was going to be a really, really good prospect. They remind me in the sense of just really good movement ability and good skills and pass protection and decent power. So he's a guy that I think could be in consideration at 11 because I do think he can play tackle. And so that is where I think you have those conversations. about guys like that who can stay home at tackle. Um, Other than that, I think you push guard or center no earlier than the second round, um, unless again you're coming across a generational interior offensive lineman, which they don't come along too often. Um, and sometimes the generational ones are the ones that sneak through that go way later in the draft, and that's just how it works. And that's why I carry the sentiment that I do of that just draft. If you're going guard or center, go between second and fifth every single year. You can even go into the sixth or seventh if you want to. It's obviously a lesser of a hit rate there, but if you're going interior, I really do believe you stick between second and fifth, and you'll find a um, starter there who could be a starter for a long time. So they have met with some of they also met with Josh Simmons, the Ohio State left tackle. Unfortunately for him, he tore his patella tendon, I believe it was. So there might be concerns there. They do believe he will be ready to go for his pro day, which I think would ease a lot of concerns. But the thing with Josh Simmons is that I don't know if the 49ers would feel comfortable drafting a big boy, like a big offensive lineman, with that type of injury, that he's still not fully recovered and healed from. uh, I just, I think with what the 49ers have seen in the recent past, knowing that Javon Kinlaw had a bit of a knee concern, but thought that he would be able to recover from it, and it turning out to being a big issue. Um, D Ford trading for him, knowing he had a back issue, and that being the reason why he ultimately had to medically retire. I think that the 49ers are very sensitive and cognizant of the injury history. So that is why the Simmons one, although I do think he's very talented, there is a bit of caution involved just because you don't really know um, how he's going to bounce back. And again, it's really hard with those big bodies that carry a ton of weight, um, and deal with so much push and pull, especially going up against elite defensive ends in the NFL. So, but the overall thesis is that the 49ers are meeting with all the number one offensive linemen. So they are doing their homework. And as they should, and I don't think that they wouldn't, but they are meeting with all of the top guys who could be in play at 11, who could be in play potentially at 43. So I think that's good. They're clearly keeping their options open, and obviously meeting with as many prospects as they can at the combine, as you should. And we'll see if any of them actually land on the 49ers. But I know a ton of fans want to see the 49ers snag an O lineman. Uh, I love the idea of somehow getting Gray Zabel to slide down or trading up to go get Gray Zabel. Um, Out of North Dakota State, because I think he's plug and play guard right away. And if again you want to wait later, maybe third, fourth, fifth round, go get Jackson Slater out of Sacramento State to potentially be a center of the future. Um, so there's a lot of options, I do believe, out there for the 49ers, and we'll see if they land on any of them. Anthony Belton is another one out of NC State. Um, so we'll see if they draft any, but I do expect them to come home with a few. So let me know what you guys think. Who do you want the 49ers to draft from an offensive line standpoint in the comments below? And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.